So ladies and gentlemen, there's Shawn Grate there on the screen. And Nicole, I know you've been watching this with us as well. I don't know if you've been able to really hear any of the 911 call, but this is the call that Jane Doe made from the home where she had been abducted and kept by Shawn Grate. And, you know, these cases are so hard, but it's amazing when you hear the heroic nature of human beings and the things that they can overcome. Do you think that that's super compelling to this jury?
Even through extraordinarily poor technical, I guess, features and major technical difficulties that the prosecution was having, that tape was still extremely chilling. This is going to be very difficult for the defense. On the other hand, I mean, it is so bad that it may make an insanity finding easier. I mean, it may be the defense's strategy to say, look, this is so bad that it is only possible if you are insane.
Yeah.
And it is that bad.
Yeah, you're right. It is that bad. And that's a very good point. I mean, the nature of these crimes is so horrific that that might be their only argument. And one of the things that I think we're going to see in this case, Nicole, that's going to be interesting is the brain studies. You know, in so many of our cases, dating back to Aaron Hernandez, we talked about the fact that the brain is often not studied until autopsy. And so now more and more science is trying to help with determining what types of brain injuries are causing people to commit these types of abhorrent crimes. And we're going to see some of that in this case. Do you think that that's helpful in a case that's this emotional and this horrific?
It's possible that it can be helpful if they show that there's some sort of an organic brain defect, and that is in part what they're claiming is the cause of his completely abnormal thinking in this case. It could be helpful. There's real risk with this kind of evidence, though, that for other cases that you start getting into predictive policing or predictive type settings where you are claiming that a person's brain shows that they may be a criminal in the future, and that's something that we have to be very careful about when we look at that kind of evidence in these cases.
That's a great point, and something that as we watch the evidence in this case, it's something to keep in mind. What we want to do for you now is we're waiting for the courtroom to decide what they're going to do next, is we want to play for you the 911 call, hopefully a little bit of a better copy so that you can actually hear the details of that. Nicole, can you stick around with me for a little bit longer while we do that?
Sure, absolutely.
All right, great. Let's play that call, guys.
911, what is the address to your emergency?
4th Street, Laundromat.
What's the problem?
I've been abducted.
Who abducted you?
Shawn Grate.
Where's she at now?
Asleep.
Where's she sleeping at?
In the bedroom. Please hurry.
Does he have a weapon?
He's got a taser.
Are you tied up now?
Yeah, but I kind of freed myself. Are they on the way?
Yeah, we have officers we're sending.
Please send enough.
Hey, if you're worried, you don't have to talk. You can just set the phone down, okay? I just need to hear if the officers find you or not.
Oh, shit, I woke him up.
You just set the phone down. Okay, can you get to the door where you can see out? Huh? Can you get out of the house?
Locked.
It's locked. Are you at the door?
Yeah, I am.
She's at the door.
Come on out. Hurry up. Get out of here. Where is he?
Bedroom sleeping.
Still sleeping?
Yeah.
Okay, they have her.
He went on it armed.
Unarmed?
Yeah.
Right now. Do it. Go through that.
Welcome Welcome back to the Law and Crime Network, ladies and gentlemen. That was our edited transcript of that 911 call that the jurors were just listening to. And Nicole, I mean, it's enough to make the hair in the back of your neck stand up. This is only just the beginning of the horrific evidence that this jury is going to be hearing. If you're defending a case like this, you know, they haven't opened. Do you think that that was a smart move to not put any sort of thought in this jury's head, even if it was just to point them to the insanity defense, to give them something to counter this terrible evidence they're seeing?
You know, it's always a judgment call in these cases. It may be more effective for them to be able to give their opening argument before their case in chief. I mean, as a general rule, it's generally more helpful to the defense to be able to put your story out there right in the beginning, so that as they hear all of the prosecution's evidence, they can be thinking about what you want to be having them think about. There are some circumstances, though, where I've waited to give an opening statement until after the prosecution's put their case on. And you know, this evidence is just so horrific. Maybe they want the jurors focusing on that aspect of it so that the jurors can see that this is very possibly only the kind of crime that could be committed by someone who is insane.
Yeah, and it is a judgment call, and it's one of those things that, gosh, especially in a case like this, you certainly don't want to put yourself in those shoes and second guess anything that these defense attorneys are doing. It does, you know, in past cases that we've watched here, oh, you know what, Nicole, we're going to toss back to the courtroom because they're live back there. So we'll take you straight back there, ladies and gentlemen.
Right.
Welcome back to the Law and Crime Network. I'm Heather Hansen. And ladies and gentlemen, we have shown you the edited version of this call. And since the quality is poor, we are going to now play for you some parts of the prosecution's opening so that you can get a sense of what's going on in this case and put it in perspective as we wait for the next live witness. Nicole, I want to thank you again for being with me here today. You've been an enormous help in looking at both this and the Tex MacGyver case. And I'm sure we'll have you back again soon.
Super. Thanks for having me.
Thanks, Nicole. In the meantime, ladies and gentlemen, this is just some pieces of the prosecution's opening until we have a next live witness in this very disturbing case.